Now, into the ticket office of Disneyland.
Oh boy, let's do this. Don't think the CIA is going to be trying to hack your second-gen iPod.
I didn't think so. There might have been a lot of illegal music on there. I wouldn't doubt it. But, I mean...
You were supposed to bring death to the flagships, not join them.
Google has found a new way to piss me off.
iTunes is a constant source of embarrassment.
Every time I say it, it's going to suck even more.
Everyone's idiots.
I am Nadella. I can't do it anymore without laughing. I was going to do the whole thing.
Welcome, everyone, to the Calling All Platforms podcast. I am your host, Wes, and I'm here with Landen.
Hello.
And Caleb.
Hi.
And we are here to talk all things tech for the past 2 weeks. So we got a little bit to talk about, so we're going to have to really go through this. Buckle up, listener. We've got some things to say.
Yeah, fortunately, most of it is fairly quick.
Are you kidding?
I
mean,
it's just a lot
I bet
of
we
it.
could. I bet I could poke the bear a little bit. We'll find out.
Listen. It's mostly quick as long as you don't push any of my rant buttons. Just don't.
It's true.
Don't do that, and we'll be fine.
It'll be really quick if I just delete Caleb's audio.
I was gonna say we need a soundboard thing that says pushing Caleb's buttons. Something, but so every time you could tell he's about to go, you could just hit it. I think that would be hilarious. You should do that, Landon. Figure out. That would be awesome. Well, we're not here to talk about pushing, buttons. We're here to talk about, first thing on the docket here, Apple. Apple turns 50, and we're celebrating with 50 memorable Apple moments.
Like I said, it's going to be quick.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'll let you do this one.
Yeah. Number one, April Fools. Haha, just kidding. We're not doing that, actually. I will say, though, it is noteworthy. Apple's 50th anniversary is April 1st. Like, they were incorporated as a business on April 1st because Steve and the other guy, who I can't remember his name, but boy, did he ever cash out too early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he cashed out before the Apple II even. So, like, he cashed out before they were making any money. Poor dude. If he'd hung on for even, 10 years, then he could have cashed out just after the Macintosh and would have made millions of dollars. Anywho, it was kind of an April Fool's joke when they signed the paperwork. I think they thought they were unsure what the longevity of the business was going to be. But, funny jokes. April 1st, Apple is 50 years old. They celebrated with a big concert on their front lawn under their big multicolored rainbow dome thing with Paul McCartney just right there in the middle of their campus.
Yeah.
So you guess if you were that big of a company, you can do stuff like that. Yay, I guess. I wish I was more enthused about the future of this company. However, things are not as bad now as they have been with Apple in the past. So, okay. Tentatively optimistic for the future. We'll see.
Yeah.
We will see. We'll be here to report on it. We'll just say that. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on. Google, are you sick of your weird middle school Gmail? Well, do we have some great news for you?
No, I'm not, Google. Stop making fun of me. Jeez.
Well,
It's sad. This makes me feel old because I was not in middle school when this came out. That's how sad it is.
I mean, that is true. I was old enough when I got my first Gmail account to not give myself some stupid email. Like, my original Hotmail accounts, those were bad. But my Gmail account has been fine. But for those younger listeners that may be out there, if you happen to set up your very first Google account when you were in elementary or middle school, and you gave yourself some random name that you don't really want to put on a resume or anything like that because you're embarrassed by it, because that makes sense. Well, Google is now making it so you can change your username in Gmail and still instead of having to set up a whole new account, you can just change the username. And you can do this once every 12 months and then up to 3 times, apparently. And they also will let you revert back to the old one, I guess, if you want to. And that won't go against your 3 changes if you want to, for some reason, go back to your old one. But yeah, they're now letting you change that a little bit, which actually is really kind of cool. I've never heard of this being a thing elsewhere. I don't know if it is.
I mean,
but I like it.
I feel like for most of us, that had the weird, awful email address they didn't want to use. Now, to be clear, the reason that I stopped using my high school Gmail account with everything was not because I was embarrassed by it, but because I didn't want all of my professional emails going into that account, in that inbox. I wanted them separate. So I made a separate just first name dot last name at Gmail account years after the fact. And I just checked, though, for me, most of the time, if I want to change my Gmail account in the past, I've just opened a new Gmail account.
Yeah.
I have 7, possibly 8. It sort of depends on how you count it. That I currently can access. There might be more that I've just forgotten about.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe Google was sick of people like me doing that, and so they're hoping this will get us to stop.
Maybe.
It's not going to happen, Google. I'm keeping all of them.
Yeah.
No, I know Microsoft does something similar to this. You can change your alias, but it's still basically the same account that you've had forever. But you can even use it to create a different alias to even sign in. So you can't use the old one to sign in this. So that way, if there's information that's out there,
Yeah.
like something like that, you can just quickly change that. So there's stuff like that I've done.
Yeah,
on
which
Microsoft
I
stuff.
think is what this is essentially talking about. Yeah, it actually changes your physical address. Your old email still functions as an alias for your new email.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's no longer your actual account. So if you have had one of your accounts compromised and you need to protect it, then this is actually very useful for that. Because obviously you can change your password and put a nice secure password on there, turn on 2-factor authentication. Those are all good. But if you really just want to stop the sign-in attempts, just change the address.
Yeah.
Then nobody's going to be able to try and sign in. So it's a good security feature as well.
It is nice. It is. Especially if you've had your email since you were younger. I'm not going to give my age out, but when you first started in middle school and you've had it ever since, it's nice to not get all of a sudden random Nigerian princes trying to email you ever since, it's just changing.
But they're so much fun.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're so nice.
They're so nice. They just want your bank account.
I have, my main email is still my original Gmail account that I set up when it was, when Gmail was brand new. And it was an invite only at the time. And I want to say, Caleb, you're the one that sent me an invite.
Oh, I thought you sent me one.
Maybe it was the other. I don't know. I know it went one way or the other in that round.
I think you sent me one.
But yeah.
Because I had a Hotmail account at the time, which, let's not talk about Hotmail.
Yeah, I had 2 different Hotmail accounts, and both of the Hotmail accounts names were not great for me. And then my Gmail account has been relatively normal. But yeah, I do like this feature. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on. We're going to talk about Microsoft, and to listener, we're going to talk about Windows 11, because I said I would try to talk about Windows 11 more on the podcast. They are going to have an April update.
Now, before you go on, is the April update just a big April Fool's Windows 11, we're going back to Windows 10?
I actually looked for something like that, and nothing legit. There were some silly ones that were just like in the headline, you're like, okay, this isn't real. But I tried to
Man.
look for a good one. I really did for this. So
That would have been
But-
so nice.
That's a
Right.
That's a long con April Fool's joke right there.
a lot of
Seriously.
Hey, we realized nobody is going to Windows 11, so we want you to come back to 10. Anyway, so they're having an update with a couple features. I'm just going to go through these really fast. The security update for Windows 11 will be on Tuesday, April 14th. And quick features that they're putting on here. One is the Smart App Control Behavior. They're making changes here. Basically, what the Smart App Control Behavior, it reminds me of, you remember, guys, in Windows 10, it was their Windows 10, like they would lock it down and you can only use like Windows apps. What was that called? It was like Windows SE or Windows 10S or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like the S edition or
Yeah.
something like that. I can't remember what.
So this is basically an app they call the SAC, the Smart App Control. You basically can lock down Windows. It's in the security system, or I'm sorry, the security part. It's a security app that locks down the system, only allowing trusted apps to run on the operating system. So that same idea. They're making changes to it to where you no longer have to require the operating system to reinstall to manage it. So
Wait.
yay! I guess no. Okay.
You had to
Yep.
reinstall prior. It's like, hey, I want to activate the security setting on my operating system. Cool. Just reset the whole thing.
That's
What?
pretty much what it was.
Microsoft.
So there you go. So there's the first one. Second feature they're coming out is Windows Narrator with image description. That sounds pretty straightforward. They also have said the number 3, the home page in setting improvements. So they're doing some additional improvement, quote unquote improvements. We'll say improvements there. So if
Remains
you
to be seen.
right, needs to be seen. They're doing improvements there. They did say about page in setting tweaks. So they're just changing basically your hardware specifications, such as your processor, memory, graphic storage, how that's going to be presented. They're doing a few tweaks there. They did say that there's going to be an account section in setting improvements. Quote unquote features here, fellas.
Sure.
Pen page in setting changes. So, yep. They'll have some file explorer updates. They said this next update, it won't add anything new, visual changes to the Explorer, but you'll notice some fixes and an addition of new accessibility features. I'm assuming we had talked about this a while ago that they were trying to update File Explorer. I remember there was a big something crash or something a while ago we talked about. I think you brought it up, Caleb.
Well, it still freaking crashes all the time on me. I hate File Explorer in Windows 11. It's an absolute turd. There was a thing a while ago where it was like they ran tests against it, and it was by far the slowest version of File Explorer that's ever shipped with Windows, including Vista. Like, it was a lot slower, and they're all like, oh, we're going to release this thing that speeds it up, which is all like, hey, awesome, it does speed it up. Also, it uses all of your RAM. Just all of it.
All of your
Doesn't
RAM,
matter. Oh, gosh.
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
A little bit more, it did say with this File Explorer, they did say they are fixing a white flash bug when launching a new tab or window when you have this PC as the default startup page.
Okay, could you make it not crash? Is
We'll
that an
see.
option?
We'll see. All right, next quote unquote feature and last one they have on here is display new refresh rate support. They did say that in the update, the system will now be able to recognize displays reporting 1,000 hertz or more for refresh rates.
Yeah, that's totally what they need to be focused on right now.
Yeah.
Definitely not supporting high enough refresh rates on that's
Yes.
the real problem.
So there you go. Those are the quote unquote features that are coming to Windows 11. I'm mentioning this because I told you, listener, I promised I would try to talk about these for you. And I will keep up to date if when these start rolling out to earlier insiders. If anything's wrong, if I see anything, I'll let you know. But most cases, listener, don't auto update for a minute. Like, I haven't seen any from March's. I haven't seen any bad things or crashes, so you could probably update to that. But I would wait even after to update to the April one, just in case, especially since they're quoting this feature of that's in the File Explorer update. So I'd probably wait for that just in case. So did I poke the button? Did I hit the button right there? I see it. I see the vein.
I'm gonna shut up. It's nothing to say that I haven't already said 100 times.
Okay. Then we'll end it there because I doubt Landen has anything to say to add to that.
Nope.
Okay.
Get off Windows.
Get off Windows. Next, we're going to get into some general tech news. New Meta glasses that you should not buy.
Speaking of things that could make us go off on a rant, but I'm going to try to not.
Yeah.
Basically, all that needs to be mentioned here is there are new frame styles that Meta and Ray-Ban came out with that are meant to work better with prescription lenses. That's really the big update here, which I don't hate that. I like that idea. It makes sense. Why the other ones supposedly didn't work well with prescription glasses, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I still, again, don't think you should buy these because they are Meta. But
yep,
unfortunately, they are currently the best option when it comes to this type of AR thing.
Which I think just shows that the segment isn't ready yet, and just keep waiting,
yes,
listener. I think that's what the takeaway is.
You're not wrong. Like, that's probably the best. Yeah.
I mean, really what it is everyone is just really hoping that Google will actually release whatever glasses. Like, they've shown off different glasses at the last 3 or 4 Google I/Os, like showing features, but never actually releasing anything. Everyone's just hoping that they will release something because, yes, it is still Google, but it's better than Meta by far.
Yeah.
So, everyone's just really hoping that, okay, maybe next I/O Google will actually give us a hardware product, and it still hasn't happened. And hopefully that'll happen this year. I'm not getting my hopes up, but that's what people are wanting. And again, these glasses, these new ones from Meta, do look pretty decent. These are the most glasses like regular glasses like looking frames that they've put out.
Yeah.
But I mean, they still obviously have the cameras on them. You can definitely see that. So that's a problem when it comes to the company being Meta.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's really all I need to say about that.
Gotcha. All right. Next topic here. Oh, gosh, I hope I say this right. The new Oppo Find N6.
Well, you didn't, so that's
I
fine.
did. I didn't think so. I'm going to swing on this one.
It's
Oppo.
just Oppo.
Oppo.
Yeah. So, listener, this is it is definitely so far the best foldable phone that's out there. And based on how this phone is, I understood why Apple was waiting to make a foldable phone, but this is what they were waiting for. Is the technology that Oppo has used in this phone is probably very similar to what Apple is going to be releasing presumably this year in their foldable phone. And what I'm meaning here is when it's closed, it's not that much thicker than an iPhone 17 Pro. So it feels like a normal phone when it's closed. The outside display is fully usable. It looks like a normal phone when closed. It has flagship cameras on it, which also has been kind of a hard thing for most companies to do with these foldable phones because when it's unfolded, the amount of phone that's there is pretty thin, so it's hard to get these bigger sensors into those thinner phones. I mean, these aren't like the best flagship cameras you can buy, but they are probably the best on a foldable phone for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say these cameras would probably compare well with a $500 to $600 mid-range phone camera. So pretty good. Not the best, but definitely good enough for most people. But the biggest thing here is, no. Before I get to that thing, the other really nice thing here is Oppo's using a solid-state battery. So they have a 6,000 milliamp hour battery in here, so it charges quickly and it lasts a lot longer than most other foldable phones. Also really nice. But the biggest thing, and the thing that we really think Apple was probably waiting for, was basically a phone, like a screen that does not have the crease in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you open this thing up, it's like in videos that I've seen of this, you have to get it just right in just the right light to really kind of see the crease in this display, which is really impressive. Because like even the Fold 7, which is the latest Samsung Fold phone, there's a very obvious crease in that phone still. And from what I understand, most people that use these bigger foldable screens, they're like, well, the crease really isn't that big of a deal because it's in the middle. You're usually touching one of the sides. It's not that big of a deal. But you do still see it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one, you almost can't see it. I don't know what it feels like, but I would imagine it's way smoother than any other folding phone out there right now. And the way they did this is there's like some sort of like, this isn't what it is, but it is, for lack of a better term, is like a rubber film that's like between the hinge and the display that kind of pushes up that center section of the display when it's opened, that just smooths it out really nicely. And like it's not rubber, like I said, but it is kind of that like type. Like I don't know how better to describe it because it kind of fills in the creases where the crease would be and kind of pushes it up so it flattens everything out. And it just looks really good. Like surprisingly good. And that's what everyone was saying. Apple's waiting to get a creaseless folding phone. And this is probably going to be very similar to what we see from Apple this year when it comes to display anyways.
Yep.
And I think it's really cool. And like obviously all the specs, like this has all the flagship specs that you would expect in these high-end foldable phones. Now where this phone will be released, that's up in the air. It's Oppo. They don't typically sell everywhere. They usually use their OnePlus brand, like because OnePlus is a subsidiary of Oppo. And so they usually throw that everywhere, and Oppo is a little more international. It doesn't always come to the US. There are rumors that this one will come to the US, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, I think like as of now, this is by far the best foldable phone that we've seen on the market.
Nice. All right. I'm just kind of over foldable phones right now myself. They're cool, but I don't know. I got nothing more to say.
I'm interested to see where this stuff goes. My biggest thing is I want to see this same type of attention to design, because there's, like you were saying, a lot of attention paid to the design, which is what we want in the newer category like this.
Fair.
I want the same attention to design applied to the smaller foldables, the flip style, which we sort of had that right at the very beginning with the first version of the Razr from Motorola.
Yeah.
Like that one felt a bit more like a Halo product, and like they had actually, because it was the brand recognition. It had the little chin on it, looked just like the classic Razr. I loved that thing. And they were trying to get rid of the crease in that one with some like unique light bulb folding of the display to kind of stretch the crease out so that it was less obvious, which necessitated them to make it so that the screen could actually slide into the bottom of the phone a little bit.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Like it's been since then that we've really had this sort of like, okay, they're really focused on the design of this phone applied to that category of phone. So like, I like what I'm seeing here, I want to see that same attention paid to the smaller phones now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
I think
Yeah.
that'll eventually happen. It's just going to take a company that makes one of those phones to do it. Because right now it's just Motorola and Samsung. And, I mean, Motorola is doing what they can. And obviously, like we reported, was it last episode or not that long ago, Motorola owns 50% of the folding market. So
Yeah.
that's good. But yeah, they haven't really made any big leaps and bounds when it comes to the display.
The functionality of the design with the outside display is like what Motorola has really brought us, you know?
Yeah, the
Like-
display on the outside is really good. The folding mechanism, all like everything there is like hardware wise, it's really good. Other than the display just hasn't gotten significantly better over time. It's gotten better,
Yeah.
but it's not like nothing like this by any means.
Yeah. Fair. With you on that. I wish that Caleb, I was saying with you on that there's more effort put into that for like the
Yeah.
design. I'm with you on that one. That's probably what I should have said. All right. Going on to this next topic. OpenAI shuts down Sora and everybody rejoices.
Yeah. That news doesn't really go much further than the headline. OpenAI announced in a very sorrowful post that they were going to be shutting down not just the Sora slot machine app, but the whole kit and caboodle.
Yeah.
Like, Sora is no longer going to be able to generate videos via the API or via ChatGPT or anything like that. Like, it's just gone. And I think that what they have realized is that it costs way too much money and makes no money.
Yeah.
So
Weird how we had to go down this journey to find
I
that out.
could have told you that right from the beginning, because that's the thing. even if you're not like horrified by the concept of Sora from like a media literacy and news perspective, and even if you're not horrified by it from like the validity of like art and human expression perspective, I think that we all could agree from the beginning it was slop that was nobody was ever going to pay for. Like, it was never going to make money. And so, yeah, they've just straight up shut it down. Yay.
Yep.
Yeah. Yay. All right. Next thing, another good news. Meta shutting down the Metaverse. And guess what? Everyone rejoices.
Yeah. Again, not much news here either, other than I guess Meta sat on this dead horse for a lot longer than OpenAI sat on Sora. But yeah, turns out, Mark, nobody cares about your stupid piece of crap fake thing. I don't really even know how to describe the Metaverse. It's an obnoxious concept, and it was horribly implemented. Like, it's like at the very beginning when it's like, yes, your avatar is a floating torso with a head that kind of, sort of, maybe kind of tracks your position in space, but it's a little buggy. That was where they started. And they did eventually get legs. Sort of. They didn't really work like legs do, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, they're shutting it down. Nobody was using it, and that's fine. And listen, listener, if you were using the Metaverse from Meta, I am so sorry about your social life. There are ways to help the things you can do, like go to a coffee shop and just sit in a corner and read a book for a few hours, you know, like get a drink and just chill over there. And maybe you'll talk to some people, maybe you won't, but you're going to feel more socially accomplished for having done that than any amount of time you spent in the Metaverse. So, you know, that's where the dopamine comes from.
Yeah. Or if you're not as comfortable doing that, because there may be even that's too many people, you know, potential interactions. It's a good time of year to go to a park, sit on a bench, and read a book.
Yeah.
like just observe the nature, just get outside and do something.
100%. In fact, you know what? Straight up, 2026, I'm declaring it right now. This is the year of reading a book. Listener, read a book or listen to a book. Audiobooks are a thing.
Yeah.
They're great. Super, super fun. Anyways,
It's true.
yeah, the metaverse is shutting down, and I think this is a net positive for humanity.
Yes. I agree with you on that. I never once stepped in that verse. Never wanted to. Had no
Yeah.
desire. Okay. Next thing here, some more interesting news. Intel, let me say this again. Interesting news. Intel is releasing some chips that actually look pretty competitive. And everyone rejoices. Wow,
It
this is a new podcast. We need it, like episode
Yeah.
1 of non-complaining about Intel. Like,
It is pretty flippin' wild that, like, in this day and age, we have full on flipped from where we were 10 years ago. A decade ago, I was pissed at Intel for sitting on their butts doing nothing, and pissed at AMD for letting them. And then AMD stopped letting them, and Intel just did not recover. And now they're in completely opposite positions, where AMD is the dominant force in the PC processor space. And Intel, while they do still sell a lot of chips, like in terms of market share, they have absolutely tanked. Like they're still the majority. Yes, they had a huge lead on AMD. But the way that AMD has clawed back the mind share, in addition to capturing market share over the past like 5 to 7 years, incredible. And I will, to their credit, they're not sitting on their butts quite as to the extent that Intel was. But it's been so long since Intel had what I would say is a competitive offering that, it's worth rejoicing. So I'm not going to go into the details on the specs of these chips or anything like that. It's just not really worth that amount of like effort. Because let's be frank, it's not their high-end stuff.
no.
And these are mid-range chips. But hey, worth celebrating. Let me just look up the actual names of the chips. I can't flippin' remember because naming sucks these days. So they're Core Ultra, and it's the 270K plus and the 250K plus, right? So
Mhm.
there were, listener, it matters. There were already 270K and 250K processors out there. These are the plus variants. They have a slightly shifted core layout, and I think more cache and a higher clock speed. Something like that. But with everything that they've done, they don't use significantly more power than the chips that they're replacing. And they cost a reasonable amount of money. It's like $200 and $300 for these. And yet, in gaming performance, like gaming benchmarks, they are beating every other chip. Like, well, okay, the 270K plus is beating every other chip that Intel has released. Just flat out, full stop, including their much more expensive previous high-end processors. And the 250K plus is tying a lot of their previous gen stuff. So what does that mean with regards to AMD? Well, AMD is the king of gaming, and their latest flippin', what is it now? It's got a 50 in it now. 9850
Don't remember.
X3D.
Whatever it is.
Used to be the 9800 X3D, but then they tacked a 50 onto it, and now it's a tiny bit faster or something like that. Like, that thing is still the fastest. The 9800 X3D is still extremely quick. They're not beating that most of the time. But the fact that I said most of the time there is very noteworthy. And the fact that that's the only processor that they're not beating or at least matching consistently. Absolutely wild. So, yeah, good job, Intel. These processors, 270K plus, 250K plus, actually competitive, especially when you take into account that they are launching at like 300-ish bucks. I can't remember the exact price. It's been a couple of weeks. But around $300 when a 9800X3D, if you can get it at MSRP, I think it's $550, but it's kind of hard to get them at MSRP these days. So it's multiple hundreds of dollars cheaper and very close to the same performance. Gigantic win. That's a huge win.
Awesome. Oh, good news. Like, it's good to see. And listener, if you've been with us, why do we want this? Competition, because competition is great for the rest of us. So this is why we get excited. Not that we may buy this Intel chip. Not that it's just we want the competition. So this is why. On all platforms.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We're going to get into some gaming news. First off, we're going to talk about Fortnite. Fortnite's epic fail of layoffs in the house of Sweeny.
Yeah, I thought I was so clever with that.
I was looking at it like, is that like a book that like Fortnite's epic fail?
Fail.
Yeah, it's like a book
because Epic Games are the developers of Fortnite. Anyways,
I like it. I should have delivered it better, so that's my fault.
Yeah, not a whole lot to say here. Apparently Fortnite has not been doing so well at becoming Roblox the way that Tim Sweeney wanted it to. And so they've laid off a bunch of people. Tim Sweeney posted a thing on social media that was all like kind of like a open letter of recommendation for the people that had been laid off, saying like we hired too many people during the pandemic and we were unsuccessful at converting Fortnite into the gigantic like platform for printing money the way that Roblox is that they kind of wanted to do. And so they're laying them off. And he's like, but these are like the best people in the industry. They're awesome. And I'm all like, hey, that's really stupid. I'm going to be completely honest, Tim. You could have just spun them off into a different game. You know?
Yep.
Like, you could have used your entire team of world-class game developers to turn around and make something other than Fortnite. You know? You could have made games, Tim.
It's true. Yeah.
Just saying. Like, I get that you wanted to try and use these people. It's like close to 1,000 people that got laid off. You wanted to use these people to make Fortnite into Roblox. I get that. That wasn't working last year. And at that point, you still had time. You still had time to go, you know what? This isn't working. But what if we just retasked a huge chunk of our team onto a different game and try to sell another product? Literally anything that isn't Fortnite. Just a thought. I don't know. Or, heck, maybe if you hadn't spent the past decade trying to litigate Fortnite into the App Store, you might have had some money to pay developers instead of paying lawyers. I don't know. Just a thought.
Well, isn't Epic owned by like 50 or 49% owned by
Tencent?
Tencent?
Yeah.
Maybe they crack down finally.
No, but they can't technically because Tim Sweeney still owns that 51%. He gets all the votes.
Yeah,
he can do whatever the crap he wants if he really wants to. Like, yes, they have sway for sure on the board, but no, and here's the thing. You look at how absolutely massive the portfolio that Tencent has is. I doubt he would have gone like a year ago, 2 years ago, if he'd turned around to the board of Epic and been like, hey, I'm thinking of taking this huge chunk of people that we hired to turn Fortnite into Roblox. That's not working. We're going to use these people instead to develop an entirely new IP or game or franchise or whatever and sell that to people instead. Tencent wouldn't have batted an eye at that. They would have been like, sounds good. Let's do it. we have bajillions of games. What's another one? You know,
What's another one?
Just
Yeah, you're right. And showcase the Unreal Engine.
yeah, 100%. Like, why? I don't know. Why were they not making like a flippin' Crisis 4 or something like that? That's Epic,
Yeah.
right? Epic owns Crisis, I'm pretty sure, these days.
Don't remember who owns that.
I think it might. Well, maybe it's not Epic. Maybe it's like EA or something like that. But no, like something just like a showcase for Unreal Engine 5 or something like that. Just,
Yeah.
something. They could have done something. I don't feel bad, Tim.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on. Question. Remember how Nintendo patented the concept of making stuff fight for you fight on your behalf? Remember that?
Yeah. Remember how that was the thing that they did and that was actually granted that patent by the
Yeah.
US Patent Office? Wild. Because that's essentially the fundamental game mechanic of every game that isn't a cozy game or some kind of like first person fighting game where you are doing the fighting directly yourself.
Correct.
Like any kind of strategy game falls into this category. Obviously Pokemon, which is what they were thinking of.
Yep.
They wanted to stop people from making Pokemon knockoffs. But Pokemon itself, that game mechanic existed before Pokemon did. It was wild that they were ever granted this patent. And this patent has now been revoked. Thankfully.
Yeah, that's because you
enough
really
people-
dig deep into that. Like that's a lot of different, like 80% of the games.
It applies in so many different cases. And yeah, enough people came to the US Patent Office and were like, hey, you granted this patent, but we've been doing this exact thing since like the 80s. So what the heck?
Yeah.
You know, this is
You
not new.
You
This
know,
is not novel.
Squaresoft,
Yeah,
Square Enix, you know.
it's just baffling. And so, yes, they have revoked that patent as well as I think like 3 other Nintendo patents that were similarly kind of just Nintendo trying to patent the concept of playing games, basically. So that's good. Happy about that.
Yes, that is good news. All right. Next thing on here, Microsoft has announced the Xbox Game Showcase. Kind of around the same time every year. This is their quote-unquote E3. Most people do. Xbox is big on this for their showcase event. It will be on June 7th, 2026. It starts 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then so plan accordingly, I guess, if you're wanting to watch this on June 7th. Big thing for this, they did announce that following this showcase, there will also be another stream that's purely dedicated to Gears of War E-Day. Usually they do this to kind of promote a game that's coming out. Gears of War is one of the big tentpole games of Xbox. And so, and since this is the big 25 years of Xbox, this will be one of the big games. A lot of people are assuming this year, so obviously Forza will already be, the new Forza game will come out. Gears of War is coming out this year. They might have Fable out this year. They just said later 2026. They didn't really give a date. And Halo, that new Halo Combat Evolved should be out this year too. So they're really pushing that. So if you're into those things, into those games, take a look, watch. Obviously, the showcase will also be talking more on other Xbox, other Activision, Blizzard, all the big games that are coming out. They'll probably have it on there too, Call of Duty, things like that. So, and of course, I'll be there to report on it for you. So, yeah, June 7th, 2026. All right. Listener, we're going to go into another segment. One of our favorite segments of the podcast is our Doom segment.
It's our doom, this segment.
Yes.
All right. Listener, Doom modders continue to be some of the best people on the internet. And I say that quite literally because this one is very much on the internet. And this guy very much could have used the skill set that was required to do this, to do some horrible stuff. 100% could have. Did not. So that's great. Doom via DNS. That's a thing. So listener, if you didn't know what DNS was, you use it probably every single day of your life. If you have accessed the internet today, you have used DNS. So that's domain name system. It is the cornerstone of the internet. It is the lookup tables that are responsible for you being able to type google.com into a browser and get back Google. It is taking your name, that namespace, and it's matching it against a lookup table on a server somewhere to be able to give you the correct content. Otherwise, you would have to memorize the IP addresses for every website on the planet and then have a list of the ways that they change as the traffic gets fed through different servers, which means that if you traveled, the IP address that you access Google through would be different than it is at your house, and so on and so forth, right? So DNS is very important. But DNS communicates from your browser to the DNS server via text, like pretty much everything else on the internet. It's just text files, okay? Text files are extremely basic, right? It's just text, and they can contain technically anything that you want to put into them, so long as you can represent it as text. But to be clear, everything can be represented as text. That's what code is. It's what binary is. It's a series of ones and zeros. You can represent literally everything via text. So that includes Doom.
Yeah.
Basically, a guy named Adam Rice has taken Doom's original source code, broken the thing up in a way that he can shove it into the individual text records of a DNS server. Each record can contain up to 2,000 characters, but any single domain can have literally thousands of those individual 2,000 character records. And then they get cached in layers on top of each other. So you can put like a whole bunch of information into these DNS records. And then since it's cached in a bunch of different ways in servers all over the internet, you can pull it back down quickly, right? DNS is meant to respond very quickly.
Right.
So, and the original file size of Doom is not huge. Like, it's not gigantic. So basically, he developed a way to disassemble the Doom source code automatically into DNS text records and then reassemble it from those DNS text records and basically put that into a program, right? So you can have a DNS server that has these text records on it, and so long as you know what that server is, you can point this, I guess C# was what he used. You can point his program at it, and it will give you Doom. Like, via DNS stream, it just streams Doom down to your computer. So absolutely no files are written to the disk. It's all in RAM. Freaking wild. I guess no audio.
I guess not. Yeah.
There's no audio. You lose the audio out of it, but without the audio, it's like 3.8 megs spread across about 2,000 different DNS records.
That's amazing.
And that's wild. Now, the thing that's particularly wild about this is, like I said, if this dude wanted to do something nefarious, I can't help but think that streaming programs down to people's computers via DNS would be pretty nefarious. I feel like there's lots of ways you could use that to bypass security to install malware. So thanks for doing this with Doom instead of like viruses.
Agreed. Thank you. Doom modders, always the best on the internet. Quite literally now. All right. And now, listener, we get to the last segment of our podcast. The newest segment we have is the bright side of life.
Welcome to the bright side of life. Hey!
All right, listener. What we usually do in this segment is we like to bring, instead of having all this negative news, which lots of times in technology, there's a lot of negativity. We try to end the podcast with something that's a little more bright, the bright side of life. And so we come up with different topics or different things we want to just say, hey, check this out, or this is what we're doing, or just something that is the bright side of life. So the first up that we're going to talk, or the first person to talk, will be Landen.
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of copying Caleb from last episode.
Gonna say.
He did Project Hail Mary, but he was specifically talking about the book. Now I'm talking about the movie because I did go and see that this past weekend, and it actually makes me want to read the book.
Yeah. I gotta say, I did finish the book this past week. It's so good.
Yeah,
the best book I've read in a really long time.
I really, like, after watching the movie, I'm like, okay, I've got to try and find this book. I need to listen. I'm going to listen to it. I'm not going to read it. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
But
audiobook is great. The guy who narrates it is awesome.
But the movie, I will say, I really enjoyed it. I don't want to hype it up too much because I don't want to overhype anything. But I did really enjoy it. I would definitely recommend going to see it at least once. Now, my wife, she didn't like it as much, but she's not as much into sci-fi and stuff like that as I am. Not that this is like, I mean, it is sci-fi, but it's not like it's more real world sci-fi than like your Marvel stuff or Star Wars or things like that, or Star Trek. You know, it's like, it's more like this actually potentially could happen. Kind of.
It's much more tied to our current understanding of science than a lot of sci-fi is. Like, a lot of sci-fi is very speculative. It's like, hey, if the universe worked in this way, here's the science that would exist around it, and then kind of goes with that. Yeah. And you end up with stuff like Dune and Foundation and all kinds of weird stuff like that. But this is like, hey, based on our current understanding of science, is this possible? And he makes up a few things, but the majority of it is pretty realistic, which I think probably is a turnoff to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. But that's okay. Don't go for the science. Go for the rock spider.
Yes.
Because the rock spider is cool.
But yeah,
I haven't seen the movie, but he is cool in the book. I assume he's cool in the movie too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And the other really cool thing about said rock spider is it's real. It's a puppet.
Used a puppet for a lot of it.
They had, I think they said 5 guys that were controlling this thing. I'm like,
oh, cool.
Sweet. It's not CGI like you would expect it to be. No, this is mostly legit. And it was they did a really good job.
I'm sure it's enhanced with CGI.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Everything is. But if you start with a practical thing and then you enhance it with CGI, it's like the best of both worlds, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my bright side of life this week is Project Hail Mary, the movie.
Good. That's awesome. Caleb, what you got for us?
Artemis 2.
Speaking of space.
We launched some people into space.
Yeah.
And they're on their way to the moon.
Yeah.
They are the furthest, like currently, they are the furthest from Earth that humans have been since the Apollo programs ended in the 70s or whenever that was. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm not sure where exactly they are right now, but I can check. They've got the tracker on their website.
Yeah, listener, if you somehow don't know what Artemis 2 is, this is a space launch going around the moon. They're not landing on the moon on this launch, but they're going around the moon, like completely backside of the moon. Like they will be the humans the farthest away from Earth any human has ever been. And that is really cool. and they're going to
Yep.
be taking lots of cool pictures. They've already taken some really cool pictures. Like the first picture
Oh,
they
yeah.
sent of Earth has like the Aurora Borealis on both ends of the Earth. It looks so cool.
Yeah.
It's such a cool
Like, that's
picture.
That's the best thing about this is like, yeah, we had the Apollo missions. Obviously, a lot of cool imagery and pictures from those as well.
Yeah.
But we got way better cameras now
Yeah.
Yes.
than they had back then. We got bigger lenses that are, well, not better lenses that are more compact and can
Yeah.
easily be taken to space, connected to really high density sensors and stuff like that. So yeah, they're currently going 3,879 miles per hour, which is awesome. So they have got 6,727 miles to go till they get to the moon. Wait, is that really? Am I reading this right? Because that would mean that they're going to get to the moon in a couple of hours.
That's kind of cool.
Hot dang. Okay, so yeah, that might be happening a lot sooner than I thought. Anyways, yeah, like I'm stoked. I'm stoked that this is happening. There are a lot of people that are like down on the whole Artemis mission set, and I can understand why, right? Like there's lots of valid concerns here. Obviously, anybody who says like, well, we should really be spending our money on something else, I don't know how to tell you this, but if you haven't looked at the military's budget versus NASA's, you should probably do that. Because, well, yes, I suppose we could spend the money spent on Artemis feeding the poor. It would be a drop in the bucket versus what we could get if we were to just, I don't know, decommission an aircraft carrier. Just one. Just saying. So yeah, Artemis 2, I think it's a really cool thing. I'm super happy that it's happening. I think that, it gives us opportunities to perfect technologies and techniques for traveling in space in ways that we just stopped trying to do decades ago. And I'm sad that we stopped trying. I am glad that we have started again. And I hope that they keep going, right? I want to see an Artemis 3 with a lander on the moon. That's what I want to see. And well, I guess what I really want to see is a return to the Ares program that'll put a base on Mars. But, it's baby steps.
Yeah, we gotta
steps.
set up a base on the moon first.
These pictures are really awesome. Okay. Well, that is actually great. I like that. Topic I want to bring up was actually, something Caleb brought up. We talked about one podcast, which was the soundtrack show, but man, sometimes just podcasts in general are just great. I really enjoy all the things you can find. Like, for example, we did talk about the soundtrack show. That they're wonderful. Other podcasts I like to bring up that are is something, maybe it's something that is so like obviously you got a bunch of celebrities that have their podcast things you can listen to. But one that I really like that Landen showed me, and I just love it. It's also part of music, is Krista Makes a Podcast. Krista Makes. He is the lead singer and one of the singers and guitarists for a band called Less Than Jake. And in his podcast, he interviews other bands and talks about and breaks down their songs, certain songs that they want to talk about, and what their mind was in recording, where they were, what they thought, and all these things. And excellent podcast. Chris, we don't, if you listen to this, if you want to give us a couple bones, that's fine. You don't have to, but I would love the podcast. But also like movie review podcasts, and it's something I've been trying to do is, so since I do a podcast with two others that really like Marvel and Star Wars, and I have fallen off that bandwagon. I've been trying to go back and be like, okay, I want to rewatch these, have a better mind of these things. And I also listen to other people's reviews and movies of these things because I like to see takes, and obviously there's a lot more nerdier things that people know of for these movies than me. And so I like to get into it. And so there's other things like that too. And obviously video games. And I also like listening to what's called the History of the 90s.
That's
a podcast that's on there.
That's a great
I really
podcast.
enjoy that one. There's also something that's called Everything 80s. Listener, awesome little things. They do little segments. Anyway, main thing was podcasts. I remember I used to listen. I would make fun of my father in the listening because he would listen to talk radio all the time. And I'm like, Dad, we should just listen to music. I am now my father listening to talk radio, except they're podcasts, and I don't listen to music, and my kids make fun of me. So I kind of get that. I guess, world goes around. But podcasts are great, listener. If you, and obviously you have found ours, and we appreciate you listening, obviously, but head out there. There's so many more things you can find that are so great and so fun, and just could blow your mind on some of the stuff that people talk about, or guests or something. So that is mine. I just have been really enjoying finding that. And like I said, I've been listening to movies and little more things on Star Wars that I've been really enjoying. And I'm like, gosh, dang it, I want to go back and watch those now. And to give like these, so I didn't ever really watch Star Wars Solo. I did watch Rogue One, and I feel like I wasn't in the right frame of mind for that one. Because I'm like, this actually was a terrible movie. I really did. I was like,
Rogue One?
I didn't like Rogue One.
Oh, dude.
The best thing is when I watched it, it was the very end with Vader, and I'm like, okay, now I got to watch A New Hope instantly after that.
I mean, that was a great scene, but the whole movie's good.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I just fell off. I don't know. And so after listening to this and people that talk about these things in Star Wars, and but this or George Lucas was at this point and this, and I was just, or when he sold it, and then Disney and this, and certain reasons why they were doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. One thing I didn't realize is how many rewrites and reshoots and things that Rogue One did, and that's why I didn't feel like it was very jarring at the time, because it was like, because I remember them talking about it in there. They were talking about, you're at this planet, now you're at this planet, and then this planet, and then all these things, and I'm like, oh yeah, it just didn't feel. But obviously that, anyway, we could probably go on about Star Wars, but we won't.
I am really resisting going off on some sort of rant.
I know. I was like,
right now.
Before I really open this can of worms for both of us, we're starting a new podcast. It's called Discussion on Star Wars. It's not, but podcasts, they're really fun. I really enjoy them. And listener, I guess broaden your horizons. I don't know. They're really good. Right side of life. All right. And that brings us to the end of the episode. Unless, Landen, you got one more thing for us? Yahoo!
Oh, yeah. I do have one more thing, and it's actually a couple things, but it's all related to one thing. And listener, as we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, this past week was April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, which means you should stay off the internet that day, because there's so many stupid things on the internet that none of it's true. And I have to mention, I'm not going to mention what specifically it was, but I did almost fall for one, and it was breaking my heart until I got to the end. But I am not going to go on past that, because this is a good thing we're talking about here. So I just wanted to, like, I saw a few different April Fool's things as the day went on that I thought were funny, but I looked up on CNET. They have a whole list of things that they enjoyed, and there's a few on there that I wanted to mention. And one of my favorites that they talked about was Traeger announced on April Fool's Day AI-powered grilling glasses. Now, what these glasses do, they do not grill for you. That would be cool. But basically what this is what their website said. It says, with smart guidance, thermal imaging, night vision, and hands-free photo and video capture, Meet AI lets you command every cook like never before. So basically, you can like use these glasses to look at whatever you're cooking, and it will tell you if it's done or if it needs to be like different things like that. Needs more seasoning, things, just fun little things like that.
Oh, boy.
Obviously not real, but I actually would love something like that. That would be fantastic. Another one that I thought was the worst thing you could possibly buy is called cat hair, which is basically a sweater made out of cat hair. Sounds miserable.
Yikes. Sounds
yeah.
itchy.
I have one cat that has really, 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 really fine fur. Sweater made from his hair might be okay.
Maybe.
But yeah, otherwise I doubt it.
I mean,
That would
based
be
on the
good.
picture that's here, you wouldn't want this. That's for sure. And then Yahoo, yes, they're still around. They came up with what they're calling the scroll stopper. It's basically a plastic little thing that you put on your thumb that makes it so you can't scroll on your phone. But listener,
Nice.
you can, do
Wow.
that with like a sticker or a Band-Aid or something like that.
It's true. There's lots of options.
And apparently you also can buy this on something that should not be a thing, but it's the Yahoo TikTok shop. I mean,
Yeah.
you should avoid Yahoo at all costs. You should also avoid TikTok shop at all costs. But the Yahoo TikTok shop, that's just the worst thing ever. But
Whoa.
apparently you can buy this for $5 if you really, for some dumb reason, want to.
Wow.
Another one that they put on their list was Omaha Steaks came out with what they call pocket steaks. And I want this to be a real thing. It's basically like jerky, but steak. Omaha Steaks, you need to make this a real product because that sounds amazing. Yeah. And then the two that my two favorite things that I saw on April 1st were both by Marquez Brownlee, one on his regular MKBHD page, and then one on his autofocus car review page. First one, he did a Bluey phone review. Now, listener, this is Bluey, the cartoon dog
Yeah.
show, and it's a phone made for kids. And he does like a legitimate, full-on review of this, like very serious review of this phone.
And when Landen says a phone made for kids, what he means is like a phone made for toddler. Like it's
like 2 to
it
3-year-old
looks
kids.
like a phone, but it's just
Yeah.
you push buttons, it goes bleep bloop, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
it's not actually any kind of phone.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, but he gives it a very like a
Oh, yeah.
typical MKBHD review, but for this quote unquote phone toy thing. It's fantastic. Go look it up. And then the other one on his car channel, he did the Little Tykes traditional like yellow and red toy car review on that. And I was really hoping that he was actually going to climb in it, or at least try to climb in it. Because, listener, if you don't know, he's 6'3". He's a pretty tall guy. There's no way he's going to fit in this thing. I was really hoping he was going to try. But he never did. But he also gives this a legitimate, real-life review. And both of them are just fantastic videos that I very highly recommend.
Yeah. The only the April Fool's tech joke that I saw was the Linus Tech Tips video, which in the past they've had some pretty funny ones. And I watched this one, and at the very end it ends with him like, "Oh, I bought a gamer jet." Like he bought a jet for gamers.
Oh,
Because that's a funny joke. Then the next day they released the video about how it wasn't a joke, and he actually did buy a private jet,
Oh, gosh.
and he's trying to. It's listener, if you're aware of Linus from Linus Tech Tips and you haven't realized, like, the channel still produces some pretty funny content, quite entertaining tech content. So I do still watch some of their videos. But Linus himself has completely lost his own plot. and it was wild to watch this video where he's super excited about how like relevant and relatable his ownership of a private jet is. Well, flipping, what's his face? I can't even remember. One of his co-employees, presenters, is there with him the whole time, just trying not to die inside the whole, like, just like he knows that this is a train wreck and he's just caught up in it. And anyways, wild.
This guy pays my bills.
Wild. Exactly. Yes. That exact mood. So yeah, that was like the funny haha April Fool's joke I saw, but then it turned out to not be an April Fool's joke the next day. I'm like, oh wow, that's horrible.
Jeez. Well, April Fool's, listener.
Yeah.
April Fool's.
I will say I have an update. I was looking at, I don't know, I was looking at like a cached version of the Artemis 2 tracker page. They're 40,000 miles from the moon. The old one I was looking at, I think I was looking at the distance from Earth thing, and it was like a cached version from like the first day or something like that.
Gotcha.
Anyways, they have decelerated to just 1,368 miles per hour. But then, yeah, they're 40,000 miles from Earth. And so they'll be doing their pass by the moon here in a couple of days.
Nice.
So sick. And in case you're looking for it, it is the Artemis Real-Time Orbit website. I'm sure you can just Google that and you will get to it. But I will point out that acronym is ARROW. And Artemis, Greek goddess of the hunt, shot arrows and stuff. It's very clever. NASA does acronyms real good.
Awesome. All right. Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Listener, we appreciate you listening. If it's just your first time listening, or if you've been listening for however long, we appreciate it. If you want to get a hold of us, you can over at our social media platforms, as well as our new website. If you want to take a look at it, callingallplatforms.com. Check out our YouTube channel for old content if you want to take a look at that.
Yep.
Go ahead over there, take a look at that, and then listener, have a good week.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Calling All Platforms is a production of Supporter Sound Studios. To learn more about how you can support the podcast, go to www.patreon.com/callingallplatforms.